quick little video, something I really this morning I wanted to make a video about, but I figured it's better I wait till it's a little quieter. This is just the simplest and easiest of many proofs. The simplest proof that the documentary hypothesis of higher biblical criticism is totally wrong. Now, for those who don't know, and many people question if it's even worthwhile to mention, there are those secular self-proclaimed scholars really coming from 19th century German anti-Semitism is really the roots of this, who believed that the Pentateuch, the first 5 books of the Bible, were written by 4 different authors. They give appellations to 3 of the authors, and then the 4th that they mention 4 different authors, and then above all of those 4, and I don't want to get into all the details. So beyond those 4, there's a 5th, the Redactor. Redactor means an editor. Now, that is the crux of the proof that this whole theory is nonsense. Why? Because if you know Hebrew, there are many times in the Pentateuch where, according to the laws of Hebrew grammar, there are what people would say are mistakes. Now, they're not mistakes. God put them there for a reason. There's deep secrets and mysteries as to why. But for example, things that are not so obvious in English translation, like changing of gender of words. Now in English you don't have, most words are in the neutral gender, and only gender specific words are gendered. In most other languages, words have gender. We see that in Spanish, and all these different, and that's also the case in Hebrew. And the people who might know Spanish and not familiar with Hebrew, you know that certain words, one would say el and one will say la, right? And both mean thee. And then there's los and las are the plural of thee, and also of and each has a gender. That el and los are the masculine gender, and la and las are the feminine gender. In the plural, if you have a plural of both masculine and feminine, then it would be los. It would be the masculine plural. Hebrew has a similar construct, not with thee, but with suffixes, particularly to reference the second and third person. So so for example, if you want to say to you, it's lach or lecha. Lecha is masculine, lach is feminine. Now that's spelled the same, but then you have the plural is lachem and lachen, or this, and that's the second person plural. Third person plural, lahem and lahen. Similar to Spanish, that when there's both masculine and feminine, then we defer to the masculine plural. But when there's only feminine, then you keep it in the feminine plural. That's in Hebrew. Now there are many places, for example, and I don't even need to mention them, in the Bible where the wrong grammar is used, and many times. And the same thing, lo and la, to him and to her, that's the third person singular, and which would also be translated generally to it, either way, because we don't have these, inanimate objects generally do not have gender in English as they do in Spanish and Lahavdil in biblical Hebrew or in Hebrew in general. And there are many places where it doesn't follow the grammar rules, and pious people kept it because that's the rules, that because God said so. That God trumps grammar, and if God said something not following grammatical rules, it's to teach us a lesson, which is the subtlety of the text in the original Hebrew that's lost in translation. But if there was some redactor, some editor who was bringing 4 different authors together and editing them together, wouldn't they correct those quote-unquote mistakes? And so there we see that there was no redactor, there was no different authors. The Bible was written by God and not by human beings. Because if human beings had authored the Bible, they wouldn't have put in these quote-unquote mistakes, which are not mistakes at all. And that's, I feel, is a very strong proof that the documentary hypothesis of higher biblical criticism, so-called higher biblical criticism, is just totally false and empty. Alright, thank you. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe. And look below for more videos. Alright, God bless.